Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to some big news from AlphaTauri. Big news many have predicted, but I don't think anyone was expecting this to happen quite so quickly. AlphaTauri has confirmed that Nyck De Vries has been dropped with immediate effect and so will not even make it to the summer break. Yes, it really is all happening now, and Ricciardo, it has also been confirmed, will take the Dutchman's seat from next weekend's Hungarian Grand Prix and for the remainder of the season. Let's do the news a bit before I get into some reaction. The team released a statement earlier today which said, AlphaTauri announces Ricciardo will be joining the team on loan from Red Bull for the remainder of the season starting from the Hungarian Grand Prix. Franz Tost is quoted as saying, I'm very pleased to welcome Daniel back into the team. There's no doubt about his driving skill and he already knows many of us, so his integration will be easy and straightforward. The team will also profit a lot from his experience as he is an 8-time Formula One Grand Prix winner. Tost goes on to thank Nyck De Vries for his valuable contribution during his time with the team and has wished him all the best for the future. As for Daniel Ricciardo, he is quoted as saying in the press release, quite simply, I'm stoked to be back on track with the Red Bull family. There is a little bit more to this because Red Bull also released a press release with Christian Horner saying Ricciardo hasn't lost any of his form while away from racing and the strides he has been making in his sim sessions translate on track. Crucial line here, his times during the tyre test were extremely competitive. There we have it then, De Vries out and Ricciardo in. We discussed this in the streams over the weekend, didn't we? And I said then that I wouldn't be at all surprised to see this happen, so shock horror, I'm not at all surprised this has happened. After all, his performances haven't been great, and lines like we're not satisfied were starting to get thrown around by Helmut Marko, which usually leads to only one outcome. What has surprised me though is the timing. Usually, if we see driver changes, more often than not, they happen over the summer break. So for this to happen right now and so soon after Silverstone, I'd argue that all means this has been coming for a while. Although you might want to say we are more or less at the halfway stage of the season, so maybe that's why they've made the decision now. Although it's got to be said, based on that line from Christian Horner and some reports as well, it appears as though this tyre test at Silverstone and Ricciardo's performance there has really sped up this process and this decision. That tyre test, if you're wondering, happening today, Tuesday, the 11th of July. So it may well have been a long time coming in some ways, but at the same time, it's kind of like a contradiction here, but it's all moved quite quickly today. I suppose the question is then, is this the right call? Well, the cop-out answer is we'll have to wait and see. After all, we don't know how Ricciardo will get on in that car for the rest of the season, a car that is pretty bad, it must be said. But don't worry, I'm not going to give you the cop-out answer. The thing is, based on his 10 races, we've not really seen De Vries make any major progress. He is being well beaten by his teammate in the teammate battles, the qualifying and race averages, and on points as well. Sure, he was in his first season and Tsunoda is in his third, so I think he did deserve a little bit more slack there, but even then, you still have to show your team that you're improving, and as much as I like the guy, and I really do, I think he's a much better driver generally than people give him credit for, but I can't honestly sit here and say that he's shown much, if any, or at least enough improvement. And hey, that's just based on me sat at home watching it all on TV and looking at the stats. The team has got so much more information to hand, and they obviously felt the same at the end of the day. I will take this opportunity to reiterate the point I've made before. I don't think his form has been utterly horrific. We've seen much worse over the years in F1, but the problem is, as I've already said a couple of times, a lack of improvement, mistakes, and a driver like Daniel Ricciardo impressing in the simulator and waiting in the wings, it was always going to be a big ask for Nyck to hang on to that seat. Look, I said this pretty much from day one. I never expected De Vries to get more than one season maximum unless he hopped in that car and set the world alight. He's always felt like a stopgap signing, if you like, someone to fill the void left by Pierre Gasly when a team didn't really have any other options available to them, at least not that they felt were ready to make the step up to F1. And this whole thing has kind of had an air of inevitability about it for me. I'll just say as well, to answer the point, I've seen a lot of, but Tsunoda was given 3 years from people. And yeah, that is absolutely true. I can't deny that. It's a fact. However, Tsunoda went from F3 to F2 and into F1 in consecutive seasons, debuting at the age of 20. De Vries was 28 at the start of the 2023 season and had a huge amount of experience behind him, including, whatever you think of Formula E, a World Championship title. Now, that doesn't mean he should have been better, a guaranteed success or anything like that. As was pointed out in live chat a few weeks ago, Brendan Hartley had massive success before he made it to F1. It didn't really work out for him. However, my point is, a 28-year-old rookie, and whether you like it or not, this is officially his rookie season, was never going to get the same leeway as a young 20-year-old who had risen through the ranks so quickly and was a Red Bull junior from 2019. On to the other point, is Ricciardo the right replacement? That is a much easier question to answer for me, and that answer is yes. He is available now, is itching to get back on the grid, and as already mentioned, has been quick in the simulator. He's also an experienced pair of hands, and to be frank, is probably a better driver for AlphaTauri to benchmark Tsunoda against than De Vries. I'm thinking about what happens beyond the end of this season regarding their driver pairing. Of course, Liam Lawson could have been an option, but if you're booting out one inexperienced driver when it comes to F1, it would be risky to replace him with another. I'm not denying for a second Ricciardo's stock did take a massive nosedive at McLaren, but his experience could well be so important to that team as they start focusing on improving that car for 2024. Also, looking a little bit further ahead, if there are a few question marks over the future of Sergio Perez, I know the team are saying that they're not looking at making a change, but we've heard that before from Red Bull, and if he doesn't perform, then that may come up again. But just if they are thinking of making a change, or there are those question marks, evaluating a driver like Danny Ric makes a hell of a lot of sense in the second half of 2023. To wrap things up then, does this all feel a bit knee-jerk and harsh on De Vries? Let me know what you think. I would say, yeah, a little bit. It has only been 10 races after all, but it also felt very knee-jerk and harsh on the likes of Gasly and Albon as well. Ultimately, though, F1 is a ruthless, results-based business. If you're not getting those results showing improvement and or getting closer to your teammate, then I'm afraid to say you are going to be in big trouble. It may not be pretty and people may not like it, but that's just the way it is. The other thing as well, very quickly, to sort of defend De Vries a little bit, and I don't think this gets said enough by the media or pundits or creators like myself, sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes a driver can go to a team with lots of experience and lots of accolades from their junior careers, thinking about Stoffel Vandoorne again. But despite all of that, sometimes you get yourself in an F1 team and it just doesn't gel for whatever reason. And that's okay. Things don't always work out the way you want them to. And that doesn't mean that any driver in that position is a bad driver. So many people, I see it all the time, think, oh, they didn't succeed in F1, so they're terrible. But that's not true at all. De Vries may well get offered a seat somewhere else in WEC or in Formula E or whatever and absolutely smash it. It just wasn't for him at AlphaTauri. And as I've already touched on, it never really felt like it was going to be. And maybe this is a topic for another video, but I wonder if there's an argument to be had now to say that the Red Bull Junior program, at least right now, is a little bit broken. Because they obviously don't think Lawson is ready. Iwasa and co are not ready. Where do they go from here? Like I said, that's probably a conversation for another day, though. But to make the point again, whatever the reason it didn't work out, if the results aren't there, the team are going to get impatient and they're going to make changes. And it's okay saying, well, maybe give him the whole season, then give him that opportunity. But AlphaTauri need to start making moves for next year. They need to improve that car. And if they don't think De Vries is the one to help them do that, then they need to make the change as soon as possible and bring in somebody like a Daniel Ricciardo with the experience who they believe can help them make those changes. Anyway, I'm waffling now, what a surprise. That is just my reaction to the news. I've not had a lot of time to properly digest this just yet, but I am live tomorrow at 7 PM BST with ESPN's F1 editor Lawrence Edmondson, and I'm sure we'll discuss it in far more detail and with more information then. So if you are interested in that, then do join us for the stream tomorrow, and if you've got any questions, keep them for the chat because we will answer a few too. That is it for this one, though, but let me know down in the comments what you make of this decision from AlphaTauri. Do you think it's the right call? And would you have put Daniel Ricciardo in that car if you were going to replace De Vries? Let me know. Now, like I say, I will be back tomorrow, 7 PM BST, with the live stream with Lawrence to discuss all of this and the Silverstone weekend and look ahead to Hungary and Belgium. In the meantime, though, if you did enjoy this one, then please do leave a like as it really does help the channel out. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos or streams. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.